Welcome everyone. Today I'm here with my friend Mary. Me and Mary met when we were 15 through one of our friends, but we got really close when we turned 16 and we both went to the same sixth form.
Yeah,
We
two
both
newbies to the form.
definitely I remember on one of the first days we were all in the community space there and connecting with the people who didn't know anyone else.
Yeah, the minority.
The minorities, yeah. I guess this is something I hadn't thought to speak about, but like pushing yourself out your comfort zone and putting yourself in completely new spaces can be really scary.
Yeah.
And we did that from such a young age, going to a new school where, you don't actually really know anyone.
Yeah, we didn't really. But I think we both have always just loved meeting new people and, like I say, pushing ourselves out of our comfort zone. And yeah, so we both probably were just like, yep, new time, new era, here we go. Some friends. We always want more friends. Yeah, so I guess that's true actually. Yeah, we did push ourselves out of our comfort zone by going there.
And then obviously we were really close throughout like college. And then we went like off onto like separate universities, and then just naturally, I think, spend less time with people. You've got like new friends. I moved abroad, so I'm like completely gone. But it's been so lovely for me and Mary to reconnect over the last maybe 18 months.
Yeah, it's got to be about that now, hasn't it? Which is flown by, but yeah, it's been so lovely. And we just went our separate ways, right? There was never any bad blood, never any falling out, nothing like that. We were always good friends and we always had such a great time together. It's just sometimes your life takes you on a slightly different path, right? And then we've come back together and it's just been so lovely since. So yeah.
We've only got like time and energy for a certain amount of things. And I think it's unrealistic for us to think that we can spend time with every single person all the time, every week. Because I used to burn myself out trying to do that as well. Before I left to go traveling, I feel like I was seeing a different friend every single night. And that's amazing to have all these friends. But I needed time for me. So I think as we get older, I do think to some degree, sometimes our friendship groups can shrink, but it is more just like spending time with aligned people and people who like to do the same stuff as you. So me and Mary last week went for like witches walk, which was so much fun. And I love to spend time with people who, love to go to different events. I know you love sound baths and women's circles and doing the things that you want to do anyway.
Definitely. And that's the thing, isn't it? Like you say, you want to spend time with the people that want to do the things you want to do and that have the same interests. I mean, obviously, we've still got friends that are very much not into that side of things. And I guess you sometimes do have friends for different things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, obviously, I always love trying something new. I'm game for absolutely anything and everything. And I think you've always been very similar as well. So it probably is partly why we like to now spend this time together to try these different things. Like obviously when we went to Wellnergy,
a festival.
Festival, sorry, in London. That is all about spirituality, wellness, different things like fitness, all sorts of stuff. That's quite an interesting story. Maybe we should mention that. So at the time, we'd only just reconnected really, hadn't we? And I had started to do balance, which is a course that Ellen obviously offers. And I was going to this festival, Wellnergy, with my friend Fred, but they were running a competition at the time. And it was basically for free tickets and a whole host of other prizes. I think
so many other prizes. It was like a night stay in London in a bougie hotel, wellness day for 2 people, some food voucher. Oh, I think there was more. There was a lot. Yeah.
But I just had this like feeling that I had to forward it to you. And I thought, I don't know if it's a bit weird because, me and Ellen at this time had only just reconnected. I don't know. I just was worried she would be a bit like, why is she sending me this? Like, that's a bit too over friendly right now. I don't know why I would anyone because Ellen is so not like that. No. That was just probably my Virgo coming out like self-criticism. But yeah, so I decided anyway to forward it to Ellen, and it was quite funny because it was like past the time, wasn't it, of entry or something?
And it was that day they were picking it. So I'd not gone on my phone for like a few days, or I'd not entered the competition. I clicked on it. I was like, oh, they've said 24 hours ago that they were going to pick the winner in 24 hours. So I was like, I've probably missed the cutoff point. So I was like, oh, I'm not going to enter. And then I was like, no, because I just got this little nudge as well that was like, you just have to tag a few people in it. Just do it. What's the worst that can happen? And again, I think we put off doing these small little things out of like maybe embarrassment or something else. And I just tagged a few people in there and I won it like literally the next day. And I think it's so funny because you got this intuitive nudge for a reason. You were saying, oh, I kind of felt a bit weird, but I did it anyway. I had the same thing where I was like, no, just do it. And then I was obviously supposed to win it, which was so magic. And then I got to see Mary there. I got to give you a goodie bag as well, which was so good. How can I got goodie bags?
Doesn't love a goodie bag. Freebies, don't get many of those these days.
And then when I got there as well, I remember I entered this competition to win a bag of 1 kg of cacao, and I won that as well. And I was like, I definitely was meant to be here for some reason.
Were. Queen of receiving right here.
Queen of receiving. And I've not always been this way, but in the last, I'd say probably 18 months, I have become the queen of receiving since I'm open to it. Yeah. And the more we listen to our intuition and the fact that it's not linked to just what we do, but it's a collective of what everyone else does too. Because if Mary had never tagged me in it in the first place, none of that would have happened. So the ripple effect from the small things and just listening to that nudge. And you are such an intuitive queen.
Yeah, I suppose I like to play games with myself in terms of everyone's obviously got their intuition. And I think the more that we go on this journey, the more we just want to be aligned and listen to our intuition. And I definitely try to do that more and more, which sometimes is a bit difficult because obviously life is busy. But I think that's why it's so important to take that time to reflect, which is actually something that your balance course really did teach me, was even if it's just 5 minutes in the day, whether it's drinking your cup of tea or coffee in the morning, or for me, it's like I bought this 1 line a day journal and just taking that 5 minutes to write a couple of lines, like it really does make a difference because you do hear your inner voice and inner knowing, I suppose. But yeah, I like to play games. So if anyone else likes to do that, then please let Ella know what you do, because I love all of them. Like I will be driving up to the traffic lights and think, oh, is it going to be green, amber, red? Like to test myself, or you know, like I'm a sucker for Asda's reduced section because it's literally right behind my house. So as I'm walking around, I'll be like, oh, what's going to be there today? And I'll have a guess as to what's going to be with a yellow stamp or sticker, should I say. So yeah, just little things like that. I do like to test myself. And I think it also then makes your intuition in some ways stronger. Like obviously the things I'm saying are so silly, like they're such silly things, but at the same time it is just increasing your awareness of like what it actually feels like when you're getting a message. So yeah, I'm all for it.
Another game that I absolutely love is just guessing what colour someone's going to wear before you see them. And I even had another little more naughty thought in my head of guessing what colour underwear someone's going to be wearing. And then you've either got to ask them or see it.
You might be going swimming later, so you might see it.
Exactly. But this is like, how can you have more fun with life as well? And so me and Mary reconnected when you joined my balance program. This was 18 months or so ago. And balance is having a holistic approach and look at your life, because everything in your life makes a difference. And it's how can I make small shifts to different areas? And we did stuff like finances, relationships, self-love, spirituality, creativity, our environment. And one of the topics is finding joy and like cultivating more joy in your life. And I think it's something that we can all benefit from. And it is, how can I like spend 5 minutes doing something that I enjoy, and knowing that the ripple effect from that is so huge.
Absolutely. I mean, anyone that's interested in the balance course, do it. Just absolutely do it. Because it was brilliant. I mean, every single session, there were so many things that you covered, and every single one, I would take something away. Well, I say something, probably about 5 things, 10 things. There was always so much in there, such good content. And it was also such a lovely space. Like, obviously, you make everyone feel safe and welcome and able to speak. And it's just nice for everyone to be able to share their thoughts. Because sometimes, you know, you might have a journal prompt and be writing something, and then actually someone else mentioned something and you hadn't quite thought of that just yet. So in some ways, it speeds up your thoughts sometimes. But yeah, it was absolutely brilliant, and I really did love it. And the joy thing I definitely took away. I mean, for me at the time, I joined because, well, work is always super busy for me. And I think I do sometimes struggle to make time for myself. And that's something that course gave me, was the time, you know, just that 90 minutes to have a little time to myself, think things through, spend time, even if it was virtually, with other like-minded, lovely women. Yeah, it was so brilliant. And the joy thing, I definitely took that away from. But even little things like with obviously the finance, just sitting down and going through your bank statements, your subscriptions, I'm sure that every single one woman in that group cancelled a subscription at least. But that's the thing, it was just making the time that you don't necessarily make for yourself. And I think what was also so lovely about it is, yes, it did have its spirituality session, but it was so much more than that. It really was. And I guess that obviously comes from you being a holistic
spiritual gal.
and spiritual gal.
Yeah, I feel like every session is a spiritual session. Like every session is like a meditation. You're connecting to yourself. Like you've probably lit a candle before you turn up. You've set this sacred space. But exactly like you said, it's like, how can I take this time to dedicate to myself? And once you've like invested in something, it makes you create the time. You're like, no, this is my time. It was weekly at the time, but I'm actually bringing balance to my membership. So starting in September for 7 months, Balance is going to be a monthly live call to make it even more like doable, because I know that a lot of people do struggle with time as well, and you can take 90 minutes out of your month.
If I can do it, you can do it.
Yeah, busy lawyer over here. And yeah, like it's intention time for those 90 minutes, but then it's also what you take away from it. It's the mindset shifts. Like I was looking through the feedback from the other day, and one of the girls was like, I just think so differently now, and just like everything feels so much better, so much more positive and optimistic, as well as there's a monthly challenge as well. So for example, after each call with the finances, you'll go home and like actually look at your finances and have the tools to be like, okay, I'm going to do something, so that you're making these small shifts each time. And then after a month, obviously there's going to be change, but after the whole program, you'll have made like intentional changes to like every single area of your life. And it feels so good to be able to do that.
Absolutely. I mean, the journaling side of things, I did say to you at the time that there's no way I can get up a half hour earlier and do journaling. But even just implementing that couple of lines a day in the evening for me, it's still been life-changing, you know. I really, really value that 5 minutes. And actually, quite often it's more than 5 minutes, because I'll then get a pad out and actually go on to something else. But not just that as well, you know, things like with the joy session, you're just getting everyone to think so differently about what it really means to be creative. And I loved that. I love that about you generally, to be honest, not just in the course. You do challenge people's beliefs and perspectives all the time, and in such a positive, great way. And yeah, I think there were people in that group that didn't think that they were creative in the slightest. So for me, for example, I did used to be very artsy, absolutely love to draw and paint. And then, you know, things get in the way and I just sort of stopped doing it really. Plus, I did find my art GCSE put me off a bit, because it was, you had to do a certain amount by a certain time, and I like to do it in my own time and how I want to do it.
The rules. Get rid of the rules.
Exactly, get rid of the rules. But little things like, obviously me making my own, because I make my own like natural products for certain things. I mean, it's definitely a journey. I have still many more things I need to swap and change. But you've made me think of that as actually that's being creative as well. It's not creative in the same way that we think of necessarily being creative.
Art. And art. It's not art, it's not creative. That is such a lie.
Yeah.
But one that we don't believe, because we think of art as the only creative thing, when I'm creative in the kitchen. I love to get creative in the kitchen. And it's when it's shifting our identity and knowing that like we're all creative people, we're all unique, we're all perfect as we are. And then it makes us feel so much more confident as well. So this is why when you look at all these different areas of your life, it's creating these amazing foundations that then support you to thrive. And when you are looking at your health holistically and you make all these small changes, the ripple effect can be mad. It can be like, oh, do you know what? I want a career change now. Or I'm so ready for something big. One of the girls moved to Portugal. And I think when it feels like our ducks are a bit more in a row, then we feel like our nervous system is more regulated, that we can make big changes.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, the mindset is everything. Yeah. You changed so many things for me in that course. And I know you did for everyone in it. So, and you're constantly changing lives, pushing everyone to think differently and be their authentic selves and do something new. I mean, even just last week, you challenged me, weren't you? Because, yeah, on things to do with my life and, you know, is it exactly what I want? And we all need an Ellen in our lives to do that, really. So yeah, it was brilliant.
We're all on the journey as well. I think we're all going to want something different to what we've already got. And it is a mixture of how can I work towards where I want to go, but also be grateful for what I've got now. And knowing that the changes don't always have to be huge either. I think so many people put off making this like steps to where they want to go because they think it's going to be too hard or take up too much time. And it's like, how can I make it simple? How can I commit just 5 minutes to doing what I want? Yeah, and I've loved learning from you as well. Mary brought round some stuff to make some natural products last weekend as well, which I was so appreciative for. And again, I think all the small steps, any step we can make in our health to like improve it is amazing. So I always want to go more natural. And I think again, I was making it hard for myself, thinking, oh, it's going to take ages to make these products, or I don't know what I'm going to need for it. And actually, it was so easy.
It is so easy. I mean, obviously, it's all about balance because you can see I've got makeup on my face. And I think, you know, it is just about one swap at a time.
Yeah.
Like you always say, it's the small things, the small steps. And then eventually, when you've done 100 small steps, it's actually a massive change. So I would always start small. Just do one thing. You know, if you've run out of deodorant or you've run out of your washing powder, you've run out of your face cleanser, whatever it may be, it's so easy to find a recipe online and start with that. And then the more that you play around, the more actually you might tweak those recipes to how you like them. And I think that's what's also so great about it. Like for me, when we were younger, I don't know if you remember, but I always loved makeup, but it would always blow up my eyes. Like everyone always thought I kept having conjunctivitis at one point, which I didn't. I was just allergic to something within the makeup. There's obviously so many chemicals and things in them. And so I think I've always thought from a young age, like, what is really in this? Like, what am I really putting on my face? What am I really putting into my body? And by having natural products, you can take away from that. You know exactly what is going into it. And it just gets rid of the things that you don't want, or that you can tweak it to have all the best benefits really for what you actually like. And yeah, don't be put off. It is really straightforward. I mean, what did we do last week? I'm trying to remember that.
Dry shampoo, which was literally like corn flour. I think there's a few different words for that thing. And,
yeah, so it was arrowroot powder. Yeah.
And like cocoa powder just to change the color, and then essential oils.
Yeah. And I mean, you don't even need the essential oils in that. So you've literally got a product that you would probably use at least once a week, let's say, from two items. I mean, obviously you do change the cocoa powder depending on your hair color, but it's as simple as that. You know, two items making a product, and it's so cheap as well. That's the other thing. It's not just good for your health. You know, money is tight for everyone, especially in this current climate, and it's a way to make things cheaper. Washing powder is only sort of four items in that, I think. I'm going from memory. I have it all written down.
And you can buy some stuff as well. Like I buy my deodorant from Holland and Barrett, and I know you use a similar one too. And you know, sometimes they can be a bit more expensive, but again, I think it's worth it. I'll put in the link to this description, an Instagram account. I've forgotten it. It's called like My Ginger Mate Kate, or
it's Your Mate Ginger Kate.
I always get that mixed up.
I used to always get it wrong as well. I always used to get it the wrong way around. She should change it, basically. But yeah, I mean, that was where I started a couple of years ago, was following her. And then I think naturally the algorithm or whatever will start sending you other people, and you'll start following other things. But I say, even if you've run out of something and there's not something obvious on Instagram or someone's account that you follow, you just Google. There's so many things online, but it really is straightforward. And I mean, your mate, your mate, Ginger K, she has, I think, started to change her account slightly. So I think if you were to look at her account, you do have to kind of scroll back now to find some of the things that she does. But as I say, there's so many people now making these changes that it's quite easy to find someone, and I'd really, really recommend doing it.
And I think Mary needs to do a workshop here in Essex and just like help everyone do it for the first time. If you want that, comment below.
Comment below, I'll get a feel of the interest. And then I may do that. Who knows? I am so thinking, oh, maybe I should actually, because it is so straightforward. And I think it's like anything, isn't it? When it's the unknown, it does sometimes put you off a little bit of getting started. But as soon as you just make one change, and like last week, you saw how easy it is.
And then the ripple effect is that then other people show other people, and ripple effect of health and happiness, which we're all here for. Another thing I love about us connecting is like how similar we are now. Obviously, we were similar when we were younger, but in a different way. Like, we like to party and go out when we were younger. And I feel like we've grown in very similar ways, where we're both a bit witchy now.
Yeah, I suppose so.
I'm taking her out the closet here. And you do love like the...
I do. I'm not denying it.
I'm just a bit more out there with it. And yeah, it's just been so magic. And I feel like you've been doing more different stuff in your free time that you love to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, my work is very different to obviously the spiritual side of things. It's very much masculine energy, just driving forward, doing as much work as you possibly can in a given day. But I think everything is a journey, like we've said, and it's just about finding the balance. And for me, finding that balance is working as hard as I possibly can in the week to the point that sometimes I was like, oh gosh, but you know, it's fine. And I do love the work, so it's all right. But also then in my free time, getting to do something different. And I think that actually is like the joy of life, right? Variety. And I definitely get that variety by finding the time at the weekend, or sometimes in the week it can be like making the washing powder or something, you know? At least it's something that's for me and still in line with that side of me. And I think that's something that sometimes I feel a little bit like almost imposter syndrome, like, oh, actually, should I be, for example, on this podcast, should I be
Yes, you should.
should I be attending all these events when I do something that is so different to like the spiritual world? But actually, it's all about, as I say, balance.
Why you need it though. I think like the more you do the things that fill you up in your spare time, the easier the rest of your life is, and the easier like it is at work when you feel like more like nourished and connected and refreshed, rather than when we're stressed out. Yeah, then everything's hard.
But yeah, no, I think that is exactly it, is that you're filling up your cup by doing the things that you love and bring you joy, and just living a healthier, better life, which then obviously has an impact on everybody else. Because if you're positive energy, then everyone else can have positive energy from you. Everyone's feeding off each other. So it allows you to do these things that sometimes are a bit more challenging. You're exactly right.
Yeah. And I want to talk to the fact as well, not everyone has to do a spiritual job. Like, even if we love spirituality, we can just enjoy that in our spare time. Like, we don't have to do that for a full-time thing, or maybe you will want to. It's stepping stones. Like, when I was working in recruitment for years, like my step was like take one day off every 2 weeks. And that was like my first step into I need more balance, and I'm going to do more of the things that fill up my cup, so that then, you know, I feel good and I can have this ripple effect. And yeah, we don't always have to like throw everything up in the air. It's back to those small steps, really.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess for me as well, like with my job, it's also about just creating that stability, you know?
Yeah.
Not everyone's got the same circumstances in life to be able to necessarily start something new straight away, or have a change of career, or, you know, everyone learns every single day, and they might change their mind about what they want to do. And it doesn't have to, like you say, be an instant decision to do something different. But for me, you know, there's a lot that I get from my job that I wouldn't necessarily get from the spiritual side of life. So it's just finding really what works for you. And I think that's the whole point in my mind of spirituality, is actually it's just being your true authentic self, attracting the people that are, you know, in line with you, like building this amazing community.
I'm recording this just before my third community event, so Mary's here, ready to connect with everyone. And I was like, let's record the podcast quick.
But yeah, like building this amazing community, and just, yeah, just I think thinking critically about things, and just trying to be your best version of you, really.
Yeah, that's what it is. I think it's a deeper connection with ourselves. Like,
yeah,
the more we can get to know ourselves, the better. And I think when we're younger, especially teenagers, you're like, yeah, I know myself. That's what I was like. And then, but really, I had no idea. And I think the more, in some ways, the more I learn about myself, the more I realize how much more there is to learn. But I kind of love that journey, because I'm like, oh, it's quite exciting.
Yeah. Well, I feel like it's like as soon as you dip your toe in this side of life, you're like, oh, I'll just do this. Oh, I'll just do this. And it's just suddenly there's so much to cover and do or learn about, you know, like, but that's the whole point, right? Is we should just all be a little bit more curious and just want to maybe learn a bit more, just be a bit more.
I think it's aha moment after aha moment. We never know what's going to come up. And yeah, it's all just information as well. Like, I think a lot of people, when they dive into personal development, yeah, a lot of it is really fun, and I love that, and I do make it fun, if I do say so myself. But at the same time, like, some of it is a little bit like, oh, that's interesting. Like, I didn't know that about myself. I'm not sure I like that about myself. But at the same time, the more we can accept all these parts of ourselves, even the parts that we don't particularly like, that's when like the real healing comes as well. And I think that's why it's so powerful to sit in circle with women, either in person or on these online spaces, which to me, yeah, they're like masterclass and you learn so much, but they are like online circles really too,
Yeah.
where you're all sharing and you hear from other people and other people are being vulnerable and it allows you to be like it too. And we realize that we're really not alone and we all are very similar in the way that we think and feel and what we experience. I think it makes it easier to not judge ourselves and just embrace the way that we feel right now, because I think we're so used to just pushing it all away. Like, I don't want to feel like this, so I'm just gonna put that to the side and push it down, and it always comes back out later.
Absolutely. Yeah. And at the end of the day, the dark and the light is what makes us us.
Yeah.
So our superpower is that we are who we are, like no one else is you. And I think that that is the side that people, like I say, don't really talk about so much with this side of life. But it is so important to just embrace that because, yeah, I mean, I think one of the ways you've described me before is quirky. And I think in some ways, I'm like, oh, like when I was younger, I used to think that was a bad thing if I did something. People were like, oh, you're a bit weird kind of thing. Or, when we'd be dancing around like your room or just be naked all the time, whatever. Like, it's a bit unconventional. But that makes us us.
Yeah.
And I think particularly when you're younger as well, school and other people, you do care more about what other people think. But as you grow, and I'm sure everyone thinks this, you do just learn, like you say, that everyone is on their own journey. No one knows what they're doing. And actually, everybody's got good and bad happening in their life, good and bad about them. And I say bad, obviously, it's not actually bad because, like I say, it makes you who you are. But yeah, it is, like you say, it's empowering in a way because yeah, I actually love the fact that I'm quirky now.
I've always loved that about you.
Yeah, so I think that's just it. You just have to embrace
Learn to love, yeah, and learn to love ourselves as we are, like imperfections and all, because it's always like that. And actually, I think the more vulnerably I share, and whenever I share things online, like recently I posted videos of me crying and like, talking about the stuff, other people love it. They love to see. And it just reminds us that we're all human. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We're all human. We all go through the same stuff and we don't have to beat ourselves up about the things that maybe don't feel like that great. And it's actually normal to be like that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and also it's just reassuring to hear someone say you don't have to have it all together. And it is just constantly a battle. I mean, for me personally right now, there are certain things that I've worked through, I'm happy with. But like, for example, I've gained a lot of weight in the last few years. And for me, I guess it's like changing the belief of, like, I think this actually came out of the balance course as well, was being grateful for what my body does for me, and accepting that there are certain circumstances that I haven't been able to really change, or maybe I'm not able to make the time to do the things like as much exercise or whatever that I used to do. And yeah, so there's always going to be little challenges. I mean, obviously that's such a superficial issue to be throwing out there. I appreciate that, but it's just the first thing that came to mind.
People feel the same way.
But
and I think it's something that bothers a lot of people. And firstly, I think you're gorgeous. But secondly, like how we look is the least interesting thing about us too.
Absolutely. Like it really is. And also looks fade, We're all going to be old and crinkly. Well, hopefully. Anyway, I'm hoping I get old and crinkly.
Yeah. I still want to be doing naked women's circles, age 80, with like long grey hair, dancing around the fire, and I'm going to love it. Rolls and like wrinkles.
Saggy boobs.
Yeah. Nipples out. Yeah.
Can't wait. I'll be there. Oh dear.
Love it. We better finish up because the community event is going to start soon. But I've absolutely loved having you on here.
Yeah, thank you.
I would love for you to share, if you're happy to, because you obviously know me quite well. How would you describe what it's like to work with me? Obviously, it can be both in the program, but also we have had some one-on-one sessions as well. Yeah. Because I think a lot of people aren't used to coaching. It's kind of like fairly new.
Yeah, it is new. You're right. I guess anyone that's thinking about it, I'd just say absolutely go for it. You've got nothing to lose whatsoever. Ellen is the best human being that you could possibly do it with. I think this is spoken about so much, and I feel like I'm repeating something, but it's repeated for a reason, and that's just that your energy is magnetic. And you give off such a good vibe that anyone that is working with you, or not even working with you, anyone that is just in your company just feels so safe and able to open up to you and be real. And I think, particularly with coaching, that is so important because you can then give such honest advice in return. And yeah, so I would say your energy is just unmatched. And yeah, you're fun as well. And I think, yes, okay, it's important to have the good energy and feel like you can open up. But it's also nice to make that time for ourselves with the coaching or with the balance course, having that session, whatever it may be, and have fun while you're doing it, right? Like that's what we all want in life is more and more fun. And you definitely add that. And I've said it before as well that I just think considering your business is still a baby, really, in the grand scheme of businesses, it's amazing what you have achieved because I'm a sucker for a good visual. And the visuals that this girl puts out, love them. They are perfect. Oh, simple but on point, just like really informative. Yeah, you're just doing fantastic and you're so lovely to work with. And I've learned so much from you. You're so knowledgeable and you can just see how much you've worked on yourself and what you're trying to achieve. And yeah, it's really inspiring.
Thank you, sister. I love this. I'll put in the link below if you want to work with me.
Do it.
And also, balance starts in September. So we're starting with financial health. That'll be the first month. Second month's all about joy, physical health, self-love, creativity as a way of life, your environment, spirituality, and it's life-changing. So if you want to join us, the link's below and have an amazing rest of your day.
Thanks so much.